Hello, my wandering souls, fearless seekers, and liminal space travelers. Welcome in or welcome back. If you found this reading, an old identity is dissolving or has dissolved. It's a part of you that no longer fits. An identity that was wrapped up in performance, perfection, pleasing, and one that was conditioned. And the space you might find yourself in now is confronting and challenging. Maybe there's a part of you that still wants to hang on to the familiar, even though you know it no longer aligns. But there's no turning back, my friend. You must welcome this rebirth and walk towards your highest self-expression. In today's tarot reading, you have 3 soul paths to choose from. Listen to one or all 3. Timestamps are in the description, along with the links to join my inner circle or come work with me one-on-one. For those who would like a close-up of the cards, let me do that for you right now. For Soul Path 1, we have the Twins. For Soul Path 2, we have the Spymaster. And for Soul Path 3, we have the Catalyst. When you feel called and ready, use your intuition to choose the pile that's calling to you the most. Click on the timestamp for your reading, and I'll see you over there. For those who chose the Twins, this message is going to be for you. I'm speaking to someone here that is either a twin, is a Gemini, or someone that can see both sides of something. There's an understanding of both sides. You may not agree with one side or another specifically, but you seem to be comfortable with holding 2 things at once. 2 beliefs, 2 ideas, 2 values, 2 stories. And the identity that is dissolving for you might be one of confusion or being on the fence, of being indecisive and not being able to choose one thing or another, of having more specificity. What does Spirit have to say about this? There is an abandonment of something here. You've invested a lot of time and emotion in certain relationships that don't fit or feel correct or feel fulfilling, soulful, have the depth that you're looking for because of this dual nature. And with this dual nature comes a flexibility, but it could come at the cost of what you truly desire or need. So going back to this idea of specificity and getting more clear, being less on the fence about something, this card to me clarifies that, where there is something missing. Even though you can see both sides, even though you can have an understanding about where someone is coming from or someone's story, that doesn't necessarily mean that they are correct for you, that they will offer the depth that you might require or need to feel fulfilled in connection. And this may not have to do with a person either. This could be anything that you are in relation to. So there's something missing and you're trying to make it work, you're trying to make some kind of connection, maybe through this dual nature, but it's not feeling quite right. This Seven of Swords speaks to you feeling like you have to hide a certain aspect of yourself, hide the truth. And again, that directness is really coming through here. So this identity that you've been hanging on to, possibly out of fear of being visible, being seen for your truth, of having a very specific opinion about something, about having a very defined idea about maybe who you are or what you would like to do. There's a sense that you feel that is wrong. And so you hide the truth or soften the truth to make something work. So the dissolving of this identity is really bringing this to the forefront. And there's a gripping of being found out, or hanging on out of fear of being found out, a fear of having the finger pointed at you. You know something to be true. There's a sense you don't give yourself enough credit for what you do know, for what you feel. And you could be moving into a time of introspection, of observation, to cut out the noise, to really get familiar with this singular self. And in that space, you develop a deeper wisdom for who you are outside of the identity that you have created or have carried to be palatable for others, to make others comfortable and feel seen. It's also about building up the capacity for the discomfort of not agreeing, of being judged, of being rejected. Now, not to say that is going to be your intention, but if you are coming from a truthful place, a kind place, a diplomatic place, and you are speaking honestly from your heart, then that is all that matters. You cannot control what other people think of you, how other people might judge you or speak about you. Your wisdom and your truth and being in your integrity is going to become and may already be far more important than fitting in or softening to be accepted. So let's look at the bottom of the deck, which will give us an added layer, hidden guidance, and or what you don't expect or see. The Three of Wands. There's an expansion here with the new identity that you are stepping towards. There's an expansion of self, expansion of network, expansion of knowledge. It's almost as if the identity that you are stepping towards is going to land or resonate with people far more authentically and more deeply than before, which means you will have new experiences. that you've never experienced before. You will meet new people that you've never met before, possibly from different parts of the world, different cultures. So this isn't just an expansion of self, this is an expansion of life. And it wasn't possible with the old identity that you had been carrying for so long, that may have been created from a place of conditioning, self-protection, or people-pleasing. What areas of life are you overriding your honest truth to be more likable to others? That is today's reflection, my dear Soul Path 1. If you enjoyed this reading, let me know by giving it a like and subscribe to the channel to ensure you see more readings like this. Thank you again, and I'll see you in your next reading. Hello, Soul Path 2, and those who chose the Spymaster. This message is going to be for you. There's a strong sense that you distrust a lot of people or a lot of situations in your life. You may even distrust yourself on a certain level. And you strive to gain knowledge, to absorb information, to help you learn something new about yourself or this distrust specifically. There's a strong commitment to learning. Because I feel you were looking for the key that unlocks something that you're struggling with. Maybe this idea of distrust. Why do I distrust so much? Why don't I trust myself? This could be part of self that is dissolving right now. And there could be a lot of distrust that you're facing at the moment. This could be a theme that is very loud for you right now, very prominent. So what does Spirit have to say about this? King of Cups. An archetype of emotional regulation. This distrust could be connected to a relationship, to your partner, to an authority figure of some kind, to a father figure. But this also could be an aspect of you where you have been required to regulate your emotions and other people's. You have had to hold those emotions, find room for those emotions, adapt to those emotions. And you're capable of doing so. But that doesn't mean you should. This could be where that knowledge or intelligence comes from, is the emotions. You have a very deep emotional intelligence within you. And so you regulate everybody around you. People might even seek you out to help you with their problems. But there is a sense that this is either no longer sustainable or something that you no longer want to carry. Queen of Swords. With that, Yet another archetype here. Another court card. There's a strong responsibility that you have had in your life to teach people. You carry this responsibility to teach people, maybe how to emotionally regulate. There is a heaviness with that. Because again, while you have that knowledge and that intelligence, that doesn't mean it is your responsibility to carry the emotion, to adapt to whatever emotion is flying at you at any given moment, and to teach people how to manage their emotions. Now, I'm speaking out of the context of something you do for work, or if you are a teacher or a healer, that is different. I'm speaking about the interpersonal relationships within someone's life. So, emotional dumping, trauma dumping is coming through very strongly here. And you having the intelligence that you have, the wisdom that you carry, the compassion and empathy that you have, you automatically move to helping, to soothing, to teaching, to offering advice, guidance. There is nothing inherently wrong with supporting the people in your life or holding space for, but when it becomes a habit and an obligation and a responsibility that is put on your shoulders to do their work, that is when it needs to shift. And I feel that there is some level of pride that you have with this identity that you've carried. But I also feel that this is an identity that is no longer sustainable for you or quite possibly healthy for you. And you almost have this sense of distrust within relationships or within yourself because of this. And if we are speaking mother and father, both of those archetypes are on the table. So there could be a dynamic there, but I do feel this is aspects of you coming forward. What else does Spirit have to say about this? It's gone quiet. Strength. This identity collapse, or this dissolving of this old identity, is helping you break through to something new, is helping you grow into something. It is cracking you open. There's a resilience with that strength card, a courage. And an ability to grow through the discomfort of having to release. And boundaries could be something that you not only have to speak, but act upon. And in the boundary setting, that process, it is going to feel uncomfortable. It is quite possibly going to crack you open in a new way. Because it's new, it's different. That doesn't mean it's wrong. It means you are doing something new. You are growing through that experience. So clarifying your needs, your desires, your boundaries with others is going to be important to restore your self-trust and to help restore the trust that may be broken in some kind of relationship. It is no longer your responsibility to carry other people's emotions, to be responsible for other people's actions or inaction, and to regulate yourself when things get tricky, when things get reactive or emotional, specifically for you. So bottom of the deck card will give us more information about what this is all about and what you don't see. Knight of Cups. With that, I get space. In contrast to this king of holding it all, you now have the space to grow in so many new ways because you are not carrying for other people. You are caring for yourself just as much as other people, and you are moving with your heart just a little bit more. You are still that compassionate person, but you're lighter, you're freer, maybe more expressive, more creative. You have room to move, to breathe, to be nourished. And that is the beauty of that Queen of Swords, is that there is no emotion involved. It is, what are the facts at hand? What needs to be done based on those facts? What decisions need to be made? What needs to be communicated? What needs to be reaffirmed? So inhabiting this Queen of Swords, I feel, is part of what you're moving towards, but also what is needed to help move you forward in dissolving this old identity of being the container for everyone else's emotions and having a little more space for your own. So that is today's reflection, my dear Soul Path 2. If you enjoyed this reading, let me know by giving it a like and subscribe to the channel to ensure you see more readings like this. Thank you again, and I'll see you in your next reading. For those who chose the catalyst, this message is going to be for you. There is a part of you here that wants to make radical changes or is in the process of making radical changes. I feel you are taking control of something in your life, and with that, maybe a decision or two or many, that it is completely upturning the foundations of who you are and even your life. But I feel the internal changes are changing the external in very abrupt ways, in very needed ways. And it is necessary for something new to form. So we will take the Queen of Swords in reverse for your first card, and what Spirit has to say about this. Dissolving of identity. There's an aspect of yourself that fears making decisions, that fears creating boundaries for yourself. You carry the idea that boundaries are unkind, that clarity is unkind, that directness is unkind. But this way of thinking about it might be keeping a lot of things stuck. It may also be inhibiting your growth. There could be an aspect of you that does this to maintain control over something, and not in a manipulative way, but there is fear of, if I make this decision, if I create a boundary, what will change? And maybe there's a fear of change. So the Ace of Cups in the upright for your next card out. This old self wants to be loved. That wants to be honored by other people. And so by not having the boundaries of not communicating truths that you could possibly earn that love, there's also an aspect of you here that wants to keep the peace, that wants to stay in that energy of love and compassion, that doesn't want to be hurt or hurt anyone else. And that is a very beautiful energy. But what if love is honoring your truth, speaking from the heart, of sharing what it is that you need or desire, of standing up for yourself, of loving yourself in ways that no one else can do for you? What if boundaries are kindness? They may not feel that way, and the delivery does not have to be unkind. But the intent of those boundaries will serve a kind purpose: to protect your energy, to protect your time, to protect your integrity, to protect what it is that you need, but not in a way that armors yourself, in a way that honors yourself. What else does Spirit have to say about this? The Hermit. This came out for Soul Path 1 as well. And we'll look at the bottom of the deck in a few minutes. That will give us some hidden energies and what you don't expect or see. Sometimes the most compassionate thing and self-caring thing that you can do is speak your truth from the heart, rather than avoid that conversation, setting that boundary of saying no. The Hermit is an energy of introspection, an energy of knowing thyself outside of the obligations, the pressures, and the expectations of the external world, of going on a quest to cut out the noise and listen to what is true, to understand what you've learned along the way. And I feel in this process of understanding the root of why you might be showing up in that way, and why this aspect of your identity is dissolving, is because there is a new truth, a wiser self that wants to be heard, that wants to be stepped into. And with that, may require you to make significant changes in your life. It may ask you to remove certain people, to move out of certain situations, because those things were built on an identity that no longer fits, that no longer aligns, even though it's familiar. But I feel there is a moment of introspection before the becoming actually begins. So there may be a sense of cutting a lot of things out, cutting away certain things, eliminating other things, revising, adjusting, making significant changes in your habits, your patterns, your behaviors, your thinking. This could be all-encompassing. And with that comes an aspect of self-love, of I have to honor my truth. I have to honor my needs, my desires, because you haven't done that so much in your past. And now I feel like it's time. So let's look at the bottom of the deck now. What you don't see or expect. The sun. I love it. It's beautiful. You're going to do great. You're going to do fine. This is such freedom, the sun. It is about being visible and seen for who you truly are and not shrinking, not shying away, not avoiding, but being seen in your truth, your glory, your wholeness, having freedom because of that, being able to express in a way that feels true to you, that feels honest and vulnerable, without having to hide those parts away anymore. But there is an act of self-love in this dissolving and this becoming. And that is what you're being asked of at this time. Where in your life have you avoided speaking your truth or setting a healthy boundary? And what is underneath that avoidance? So that is today's reflection, my Soul Path 3. If you enjoyed this reading, let me know by giving it a like and subscribe to the channel to ensure you see more readings like this. Thanks again, and I'll see you in your next reading.